First, I wanted to share this thought. This is how, our Democratic politicians, and I fully expect to hear Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Elizabeth Warren say something like this soon. And I would love to hear, Kamala Harris and some of the others who are serious contenders for the Democratic nomination start talking like this. Franklin Roosevelt was confronted back in, this is 1936, about how he had raised the top tax rate up to 91%. And, well, I'll let him tell you. Here he is.
A number of my friends who belong in the very high upper bracket have suggested to me on several occasions of late that if I am re-elected president, they will have to move to some other nation because of high taxes here. Now, I will miss them very much.
There you go. I mean, this is just very straightforward stuff. Oh, man. David in Tyndall, South Dakota. Hey, David, what's up?
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on some points about billionaires, but there's one point that I want to make, and this is it. The Democrat Party wants to tax more wealth out of these billionaires while they're the biggest drivers of our jobs that we have today.
David, you have been listening to Fox News or right-wing hate radio, I guarantee, because A, there's no such thing as a Democrat Party. It's called the Democratic Party. Back in the 1950s, Joe McCarthy said, don't ever say Democratic. That sounds too nice and friendly. People like Democratic. Say Democrat with an emphasis on the rat. And Fox News has been loyal to that McCarthyite thing ever since, number one. Number two, billionaires actually slow down the economy because they take money out of the economy and they put it in their bank accounts and in their hedge funds. You want to know who's driving the economy, David? It's poor people. People who make under $60,000 a year, under $40,000 a year, under $20,000 a year. People in the median income in the United States is around 40 grand for a household. It's around 27 grand for an individual. People who make less than that spend 100% of their income. And when they spend that money, that stimulates the economy. This idea that Ronald Reagan came up with to try to sell to rubes who listen to right-wing radio and things like that. And truth be told, a lot of people bought this stuff for a lot of years. The con job that Reagan came up with was telling people that, it used to be called the horse and sparrow theory back in the 1880s, that if you give the horses more oats, they'll poop more undigested oats, and the sparrows will get fatter because they get to eat the oats. Reagan called it trickle down. You put more wine in the wine glass at the top, and eventually it spills down off the table, and people sitting on the floor get some. The crumbs fall on us. It has been proven not to be the case. In fact, the biggest stimulus that we have had, if you look at the history of stimuluses in the United States, is typically when you dial back the Social Security tax, because that's a tax that even if you only make $5,000 a year, you pay taxes on all your income. And the way that Obama got us out of the Bush Depression in 2009 was by pausing the Social Security tax, or at least 2% of it, for either a year or 2 years. So it's working people, David, who stimulate the economy, who drive the economy, who create something called demand. It's called aggregate demand, and it's also known as wages. It's wages that drive the economy, not the savings of billionaires, David.
Well, it's the billionaires that are hiring right now.
No, not true. Actually,
we do have jobs.
It's not true, David. I'm not a billionaire. I'm hiring people. David, if you actually talk to a real economist, not to somebody who plays one on Fox News, what you will find, which is owned by a billionaire, by the way, which is why he wants you to think so favorably of billionaires. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News and supervises the programming of it. But if you talk to an actual economist, you will find that the majority of job growth in the United States is small businesses. None of them are owned by billionaires. None of them. And by and large, even if you say, oh, well, Walmart's creating jobs, well, the Walton family, who's worth, over $100 billion, talking about billionaires, they do absolutely nothing with Walmart. They just sit around and wait for the dividend check to come in the mail. The same thing with most billionaires in the United States. Their principal occupation is sitting around waiting, sitting around the pool on their butt waiting for the dividend check to arrive. That doesn't stimulate anything in the economy, David. Nothing.
Well, they do.
Okay. All right. David, thank you for the call. Good luck.